again. This is really bizarre for me because it's been all of 40 minutes since I filmed Vlogmas Day 9, and here we are for Vlogmas Day 10. So I'm actually just exporting that video that I made for Vlogmas Day 9 and now filming for Vlogmas Day 10. So it actually is Day 10, it actually is Sunday, and I'm just creating my thumbnail for this video whilst it's exporting. And then after I have done this, I have got a riding lesson today. So I thought today would be a good day to talk hobbies and what I've been up to, especially since, you know, I'm doing one of them right now and I'm going on my riding lesson, which is another one. So I'll talk about riding afterwards. My sister's visiting at the moment, and so she's coming down to the stables with us, but she hasn't ridden since she was about 15, and she fell off and she broke her arm and dislocated her shoulder. So I don't know if she's just like not that comfortable doing it anymore. At least I don't think she's ridden. And she could have come, and the stables are pretty strict. They make you have an assessment with them before they will let you ride, and because she doesn't live here, she's not had an assessment with them. So she can't just come and book on with us. So if she does come, because she loves horses, she absolutely adores horses. So if she does come, just to watch, I'll ask her to film, but I don't know actually if she's even still here or if she's started heading home, because she lives in Norfolk and she will be at work tomorrow, so she will have to start heading back sometime soon. But if she is coming with us, I will just ask her to do a little bit of filming down at the stables. Bear in mind, I am not a master. I've had maybe 6 lessons now because I don't go every week. I try to go every fortnight, but you know, I'm busy. It's also not the cheapest thing to do in the world, so like budgeting and making sure I can actually go sort of a lesson every 2 weeks is working quite well for me, but I am by no means experienced in this, so don't hold out any hopes for some spectacular riding. I'm only at sort of trotting point. I've not done anything beyond there yet, but I'll update you about riding later on. So aside from riding and, you know, making videos, which you know all about because you're here for that bit, and doing all the side hustle-y stuff, which I guess you would say are hobbies as well. The only other thing I've really been doing, and those of you that follow me on Instagram will have seen a few posts about this, and that is that I have been shooting and clay pigeon shooting. And just to avoid any confusion, because I've mentioned it before and it did cause a bit of confusion, clay pigeon shooting, for anyone that doesn't know, is not shooting wildlife. You know, it's not like game shooting or anything like that. When we say clay pigeons, they're literally clay discs. Hold on, I have one here. So they just look like this. It's literally a clay disc and it flies out of the trap, and your job simply is to shoot it. And if you do, it just breaks up into lots of little pieces, and that's it. That's the whole concept of it. Are we good?
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. So I went to a shooting event with my boyfriend, and I had never shot before, and so I was there just spectating, just watching him, because he's been doing it for a few years. You know, he's licensed, he has his own shotgun and all of that stuff. And I watched and I was blown away. I thought it looked so good. So he offered to take me shooting sort of a few weeks later. Now this is going to sound really silly, I was aware that I would not be very good at shooting, or I anticipated that I wouldn't be very good at shooting, having never done it. I'd never even held a shotgun before. So when I was back here, knowing I had a few weeks between seeing him next time and when we were going to go shooting, I had 3 shooting lessons. I just went for an hour, 3 weeks in a row, and just so I could like learn the basics, know how to handle the shotgun, know what the bits were called and know how to, you know, at least point and shoot. And like on the easy targets, it almost felt like I had a bit of beginner's luck, like I was doing really, really well. And at the end of the 3 lessons, oh, that's my video finished exporting. At the end of the 3 lessons, I got just a basic shotgun skills certificate, so that was kind of cool. I didn't even know I was getting that. I didn't know I was working towards it when I booked them. I just thought I was booking 3 lessons, so that was good. And there was a little bit of theory behind it as well, like I had to go through a PowerPoint and answer some questions and whatnot. So then going with him, I felt much better prepared, but where he took me shooting was, well, it was a normal shooting ground, but in my lessons, I think they'd put me on easier targets just because I was a complete beginner, whereas we did a range of targets. So I was able to get about half of them, but a lot of them just, you know, I missed. So that was that, and then I've been a few times with him since. I haven't been back for any more lessons, and I don't have my own shotgun or anything like that. There's a lot involved with getting a shotgun and getting licensed and registering with the police, and you have to make sure you're securing it correctly, where you keep it. There's a lot to worry about, and honestly, I'm not that invested in it as a sport yet for me to feel like I need to get all the equipment that goes with it. So, and it's a very expensive hobby to get into. Just buying a gun is expensive, but I think it's more expensive to get your safe and all your security for where you're going to store it. So I've not even started thinking about that yet because I don't go often enough. And when I'm here at home, there's no one I know that shoots, so there's no one I could necessarily go with, so I'd have to go by myself. And so at the minute, I'm just happy doing that when I'm with him. And then obviously I use his shotgun. He's got a Browning 12 gauge. I don't know specifically the model or anything like that. I'm not that good. But I've been shooting with him a few times when I've been down south, and even once when we've been with his parents. And I would say I'm just okay. Like I hit generally like about half of the targets wherever we go. But the last time we went, it was absolutely chucking it down, and we decided, you know what, we'll make the best of it. But I have a little sticky patch over one of my eyes on my safety goggles because, well, you have to wear safety goggles when you shoot. You have to wear ear protection and safety goggles as a minimum. You're supposed to also wear a hat. The sticker came off, and I hadn't brought any of the spare tape with me, and it's like, it's actually medical tape, and it's translucent so you can see through it. And some people wear it on their glasses because they have dominance in one eye. So I'm left eye cross dominant. So when I look at the clay, I will perceive it to be in a slightly different position because of my vision. So the little patch, you can still see through it because it's translucent, but it doesn't like take over, if that makes sense. So because I didn't have that, I kept missing. And so I tried closing my left eye, but then it just shifts where the clay is in the sky anyway. And I was missing so many, even easy ones. I was so embarrassed. And that's the last time I've been shooting. So the last time we left it was just, I was atrocious. So that's really bad. I need to sort of go again and not be really rubbish at it. But that's where I'm at with shooting, and I do really enjoy it. I love it as an activity to do, and it's great that sort of he's introduced me to something that wasn't just something of my own, because I don't think this is something I would have got into if I hadn't met him, if I hadn't known him. I don't think this would have even crossed my radar. But it's really, really fun, and I do enjoy it. He's actually at a shooting event today with some friends, and so after I've been for my riding lesson, I'm going to go out and get some groceries because they're going to come back here, and I've said I'll cook them all some dinner, and then they're all heading back down south anyway, and then it'll be back to work for me. So it's another quite busy weekend, but I'm glad I'm also at home and I've got a bit of quiet time before my riding lesson, and then after they've gone, I'll have a bit more time to just sort out my stuff, which is good. So I'm about to just upload my video that I've edited, and then I'll be off for my riding lesson. It's a very rainy afternoon at the stables. We did wonder if it would get called off, but apparently not. So we're going to go ahead and try and ride in the rain. I'll let you know how it goes. Hi, I'm just back from riding. We got soaked. It was a good thing I was wearing a hat because otherwise my hair would be drenched, and I have not got time to deal with that today. I go with my mum. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. And I would say she's an experienced rider. She is experienced. She's been riding since she was a child, but she's had like a 10-year gap. So she's like not as confident. So we generally do the same thing in lessons, even though I'm basically a beginner and she's not. So today we carried on doing trotting, but we did trotting over raised poles. The horses hated the weather though, so they were a bit temperamental, which means controlling them was a little bit harder. But the instructor said I actually did really, really well, and I could feel myself making progress throughout the lesson. Like the first couple of times I did it, my horse would slow down to go over the poles, and it was just a struggle keeping her trotting. And then sort of remembering to keep, like, everything you've got to do in your head. It's almost like learning to drive a car when you've got to remember all the things to do, but worse. There's more things for me to keep in my head. And when you're new to it and it's not sort of like muscle memory and you're not sort of used to it, it is a lot to remember. But by the end, I did a really, really good lap where she went over the raised poles and it was all good. And so my instructor was really, really sort of encouraging about it, which was great. But I am really filthy. I know, what am I doing wearing white jumpers? I only have white ones, so I probably need to invest in another pair, but these are the only pair I have, and to be honest, they weren't that expensive, which is why I got them. So I've got to give everything a clean, everything's got to go in the wash. I need to warm up, but I really need to crack on and get preparing dinner for when my boyfriend and his friends get here, because I've not even started and they should be on their way back soon. So I've got to get a move on, so I'll wrap this one up. Again, I'm so sorry I couldn't film at the stables. My sister didn't come because it was chucking it down and she did not want to just stand in the rain, which I totally get, which meant I was riding, so there was no opportunity for me to film whilst riding. So maybe one day soon I'll be able to get some footage at the stables. But for now, I will wrap this one up. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye.